Government Procurement Law. This is Republic Act 9184, also known as Government Procurement Reform Act. For every bidding or procurement of the goods, service, or infrastructure project to be done by the government, whether it's national or local government, it is the policy of the state to adhere with the principle of transparency, accountability, equity, efficiency, and economy. Ibig sabihin, okay, kailangan po na meron pong procedures in the said bidding process wherein there should be disclosure of the necessary information about the goods, okay, services, or infrastructure projects to be procured. Okay? Equity, efficiency, and economy, meaning the winning bidder selected by the Bids and Awards Committee. No? So accountable po ang Bids and Awards Committee because they are the designated body, okay, in determining who among the bidders will be the lowest, okay, bidder, and hence the winning bidder. Okay? In connection with that, since lowest bidder siya, pinakamababa na acceptable price ang kanyang tatanggapin, but the bidder will provide for the same quality specification of goods, service, or infrastructure project. Therefore, there is the so-called advantageous procurement on the part of the government. Hence, dapat economically feasible or possible, efficient. Okay? Ibig sabihin, yung pag-procure ay dapat hindi ito disadvantageous sa government. So lowest bid, okay? And that can provide the same quality of goods, service, or project. It is the policy of the government of the Philippines that procurement of such goods, projects, and services shall be competitive and transparent. So pag sinabi natin competitive, open sa lahat ng qualified bidders. Transparent, meaning hindi lang po informed yung iisang bidder, lahat po. Kaya meron pong publication. So it shall undergo competitive bidding, except when it is provided under Rule 16 of the Internal Rules and Regulations pertaining to the alternative mode or method of procurement. Ito po yung mga process ng procurement na hindi nag-undergo ng competitive bidding, which we're going to discuss later. So what are the principles on government procurement? First, transparency in the procurement process and in the implementation of procurement contracts through wide dissemination of bid opportunities and participation of pertinent non-government organizations. Second, competitiveness by extending equal opportunity to enable private contracting parties. Kaya nga open po yung mag-bid. Okay? Competitive bidding kahit sino na eligible, no? And qualified. Okay? So there are requirements for its qualification. Qualification as to legal qualification. Qualification as to its financial qualification. Okay? And technical qualification. Streamlined procurement process that will uniformly apply to all government procurement. The procurement process shall be simple and made adaptable to advances in modern technology in order to ensure effective and efficient method. Kaya dito sa principle na ito, meron na tayong tinatawag na PhilJEPs, no? PhilJEPs. Later i-discuss natin 'yan. System of accountability where both public officials directly or indirectly involved in the procurement process, as well as implementation of procurement contracts, and private parties that deal with the government of the Philippines are, when warranted by circumstances, investigated and be held liable for their actions relative thereto. Kaya marami na rin cases, class, na na-file sa korte wherein involved doon sa procurement, yung BAC, no? Bids and Awards Committee. Tapos nakasuhan sila kasi merong anomalya, no? Merong na-award na contract sa isang contractor, okay? At meron tayong anomaly in a sense na baka meron pong favored bidder, no? Tapos meron din tayong mga cases of bribery, di ba? Yung mga extortion, etc. Okay? And these are detrimental, no? These are disadvantageous on the part of the government. Kaya merong system of accountability. Pag napatunayan na sila po ay involved dyan, even yung mga private parties, no, sa pag-implement at nalaman na overpriced pala. Okay? Like yung mga narinig natin sa mga balita, no, I will not name any, pero alam nyo naman yan. Okay? Mga overpriced procurement, yung mga projects na ghost projects, okay? With regard to the cases of PDAF, CDAF, or CDF dati. Okay? So may mga system of accountability and kasama din ang private entity, yung supplier or yung contractor na nakakasuhan ng graft and corrupt practices. Okay? Under the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, Republic Act 3019. Okay? So may system of accountability. And later, discuss din natin, no, yung what if hindi siya nagtuloy. So merong mga blacklisting. Okay? May mga imprisonment pa kapag nagkaroon ng, just to give you an overview, nagkaroon ng tinatawag nating splitting of contracts. Okay? So later, discuss din natin to. So may penalty. So accountable ang mga officials, whether directly or indirectly involved in the procurement process. Now, public monitoring. So ito po yung principles natin, letter E, of procurement process and implementation of awarded contracts with the end in view of guaranteeing these contracts are awarded pursuant to the provision of the Act and its IRR, and that all these contracts are performed strictly according to their specification. Kaya kapag napapansin nyo, class, yung mga kino-construct na road, di ba? O kaya kung ano mga projects dyan, meron silang nakapaskil na tarpaulin, no? Anong pangalan ng contractor, magkano yung contract price, ano yung duration, ano yung mga trabaho na gagawin doon sa area na yon. Okay? Infrastructure project. So public monitoring. Okay? So you have T, transparency, C, competitiveness, S, streamlined, okay? System of accountability, and public monitoring. So you have acronym, no? Pwede pong acronym natin ay competitiveness, accountability, streamlined, procurement, transparency, and public monitoring. So C, competitiveness, okay? Accountability, streamlined procurement, or pwede rin namang P, public monitoring. Okay? And then transparency. Okay? TCAPS or CAPS-T. It's up to you kung anong gusto niyong acronym with regard to the principles. Scope and application. This IRR, internal rules and regulations, shall apply to all procurement of any branch, agency, department, bureau, office, instrumentality of the government of the Philippines, including the GOCC, okay, government-owned and controlled corporation, government financial institution, GFI, okay, state universities and colleges, yung mga school, okay, na owned by the government, local government units or LGUs. Yan. So lahat po, no? Pero syempre may mga exceptions, may mga hindi covered nung RA9184 and di-discuss natin later. Any treaty or internal executive agreement, international executive agreement, which the government of the Philippines is signatory affecting the subject matter of the Act, and this IRR shall be observed. In case of conflict between the terms of the treaty or international or executive agreement and this IRR, the former shall prevail. So yung treaty pa rin ang mag-govern. What is the difference, class, between treaty at saka executive agreement? Yung treaty kasi, class, ito po ay meron ka pa ring contract with the foreign entity, okay, ibang country, pero kailangan na dumaan siya sa Senate. Pero kapag executive agreement or international agreement, kahit si President lang pwede nang mag-represent ng ating bansa sa international community. Ayan. Unless the treaty or international or executive agreement expressly provides another or different procurement procedure and guidelines, RA9184 and this IRR shall apply to foreign-funded procurement of goods. So, again, nag-a-apply po no, sa foreign-funded procurement of goods, infrastructure project, and consulting service, yung RA9184, unless meron pong ibang process provided in the treaty, executive agreement, or international agreement. Okay? Now, ano yung mga hindi kasama? The IRR shall not apply to the following. Okay? Procurement of goods, infrastructure projects, consulting services funded from foreign grants. Okay, foreign grants naman ito. Covered by RA9182 as amended by RA8555 entitled an act excluding official development assistance. Second, acquisition of real property which shall governed by RA107523, an act facilitating the acquisition of right of way. Yan. So kapag right of way or location for national government project, okay, kumbaga parang ano to eminent domain, di ba? Yung power of eminent domain. Bibilin mo yung private property kasi nga kailangan na gamitin for public use for national government infrastructure project, hindi na kailangan, hindi siya covered ng RA9184. Or public-private sector infrastructure for development project. So ito po yung tinatawag nating PPP, no? Private Public Partnership. Kung magpa-project po yung public and private and other procurement covered by RA6957, hindi na siya covered ng 9184. You do not need to undergo the procedures that we're going to discuss later, yung steps in procurement. So an act authorizing financing, construction, operations, maintenance of infrastructure project by private sector and for other purposes. That is RA7718. Okay, so ulitin natin, those procurement of goods, infrastructure projects, and consulting services funded by foreign grants, no need to undergo RA9184 process of procurement, yung right of way, and public-private infrastructure and development projects. The following are not procurement activities. Okay, hindi po procurement activities under RA9184. Letter A, direct financial or material assistance given to beneficiaries in accordance with existing laws, regulations subject to the guidelines of concerned agency. Letter B, participation in local and foreign scholarship, training, continuing education, conference, seminar, or similar activities that shall be governed by COA, CSC, Civil Service Commission, and DBM, Department of Budget and Management. List of government-owned property as lessor for private use. Pagpapaupa, hindi po procurement yung activity na yun. Hiring of job order workers. So hindi po kailangan na mag-post ng invitation, okay, or notice na meron pong opening sa local government unit o kaya naman sa mga national government agency for job order workers. Okay? So, no need for the so-called procurement process kapag JO. Yung JO kasi mga kapatid, job order, pag natapos na yung para siyang para siyang seasonal o kaya naman contractual lang. Every 3 months, okay, mag-end na yung kanilang kontrata. Okay, i-renew na lang, for example, ni mayor, kung local government or ni governor, yung mga job order workers subject to renewal. So, hindi siya kailangan na dumaan sa procurement because it is not a procurement activity. Okay, joint venture under the revised NEDA guidelines, okay, and joint venture agreements by LGU with private entity. So, hindi po dadaan sa procurement. Ayan, not procurement activity. Okay, pag may joint venture agreement tayo. See, for example, mga kapatid, joint venture magpapatayo yung government ng local government, LGU, ng water system dito sa locality. Tapos syempre walang expertise ang LGU sa pag-manage ng water system like yung Maynilad, 'di ba? Nawasa. So nakipag joint venture sila yung LGU sa private entity na may expertise sa pag-manage nun. Okay, tapos hati sila 50-50. No need, okay, to undergo yung procurement process because this is not a procurement activity under 9184. Disposal of property and other assets of the government. Disposal nga po ibebenta ka. Hindi naman procurement. Procurement bibili, 'di ba? Or magpapabid ka for construction of infrastructure project. Ikaw ang magbabayad, gobyerno. Disposal, ikaw yung babayaran. Definition of terms. So let us focus, no, hindi lahat ng mga nasa IRR ay nilagay natin dito, okay? Ito po yung mga significant na terms that you have to consider. First, ano po ang ibig sabihin ng act? Pag yung sinabing act doon sa batas or sa IRR, it refers to RA9184 kasi maraming Republic Act di ba? So otherwise known as the Government Procurement Reform Act, GPRA. And we have ABC, A, B, C. Kaya po siya ABC, approved budget for the contract. So dapat every procurement, meron kang budget para dyan. Hindi ka pwedeng magpa-bid or magpa-procure ng goods, project, or service kung wala siyang budget. So this refers to budget for the contract duly approved by the HOPE. Itong HOPE class ang tawag po sa kanya ay head of the procuring entity. Okay, head of the procuring entity. Meaning, kung ang procuring entity mga kapatid ay local government unit na city or municipality, si mayor po yun. Kapag province, si governor. Okay? As provided for in the GAA, General Appropriations Act. Ito po yung ginagawa ng mga Senate at Congress. No? The GAA should emanate from the Congress. Tapos i-approve ng dalawang house. Then, kapag na-approve, pipirmahan ni President para meron po tayong budget for the year. Continuing in automatic appropriation in case of national government agencies, the corporate budget for contract approved by the governing board pursuant to EO 518. Okay? And of course, dito sa local government, ito po, no? Yung tinatawag nating budget approved by the Sanggunian through an appropriation ordinance. Okay? So kapag local government unit naman, appropriation ordinance po yan. At ang budget, bago mo i-approve, no, yung budget, dapat dumaan siya sa proseso. Ang iba-budget lang natin ay dapat dumaan muna siya sa, okay, una, may AIP, Annual Investment Plan. Okay? So the example lang sa city or local government unit, the City Development Council will provide the list of projects or procurement per barangay. Tapos i-collate yan ng CPDO, City Planning and Development Office. And they will come up with an annual investment plan or AIP. Okay? Yung annual investment plan, nandito po lahat ng mga listahan ng mga plano na project na gagawin ng local government. It does not necessarily be equivalent. No, the amount is not necessarily be equivalent to the budget for the year. Kaya nga plano, mas mataas yan, mas madami. No? Plan mo for the 3-year period. So ngayon, itong annual investment plan, dyan lang po kukuha yung local chief executive department ng, okay, popondohan nila. And we have here the so-called budget. Okay, ABC. Yan. At yung budget na yan, kung ang budget ng isang munisipyo or city is 2 billion, example lang, 2 billion, itong AIP probably 30 billion ito. So hindi mo mapupundohan lahat. Ito po parang shopping list, no? Nandyan lahat ng mga possible projects na pwedeng pondohan. Since limited lang yung pondo, i-prioritize mo. Mayor, governor, kung ano ang pupondohan natin dyan sa budget. Okay, ABC. So nandyan na po yung development fund, nandyan na po yung para sa PS, yung personal services, nandyan na yung MOOE, yung maintenance and other operating expenses, etc. And also yung disaster fund, no? Calamity fund. At itong EBC, kapag local government, yan po ay approved by the Sanggunian. Okay, approved by the Sanggunian. So ito na po, approved budget for the contract. Okay? So ngayon, itong budget na ito, dyan na po kukuha, no, ng basis yung back para magpa-bid. Okay? It's within the budget lang. So bid, let's proceed to bid, letter C. What is bid? Bid refers to a signed offer or proposal to undertake a contract submitted by the bidder in response to and consonance with the requirements of bidding documents. For the purpose of and through this IRR, the term bid shall be equivalent to be used interchangeably with proposal and tender. So yung bid, yan po yung isasubmit ng bidder. Ayan, si bidder naman, no? Magsasubmit siya ng bid. Kung ang gobyerno, for example, local government, ay naglagay sa budget dito sa ABC niya ng construction of bridge connecting, for example, no, barangay A to barangay B. Ipapapost ni Bids and Awards Committee yung invitation to bid. Tapos mababasa yan dahil transparency nga, no, mababasa ng mga qualified bidder, and the bidder refers to contractor, manufacturer, supplier, distributor, and consultants who submit a bid response to the requirements of the bidding documents. Okay? Nabasa yan ng bidder, magsasubmit sila ng bid. Pero bago sila mag-submit ng bid, kailangan nilang bumili or kumuha ng bid documents or bidding documents. Okay? And this refer to the documents issued by the procuring entity. So hindi lahat ng gustong mag-bid ay allowed na mag-bid. Dapat mag-procure ka muna ng bid. So kapag bumili na sila ng bidding documents, okay, which is a document issued by the procuring entity, is the basis for bids, furnishing all information necessary for prospective bidder to prepare bid for the goods, infrastructure project, and consulting services required by the procuring entity, and this satisfies the transparency principle. Okay, so Bids and Awards Committee refers to the committee established in accordance with Rule 5 of the IRR, meaning this is the body that will initiate and will evaluate, okay, the procurement, okay, the bids submitted by the bidders, okay, and award the said contract to the winning bidder who is the lowest bidder. Okay, so we have bidder, bids and awards committee, and bidding document. Now, procurement refers to acquisition of goods, consulting service, and contracting for infrastructure project by the procuring entity. In case of projects involving mixed procurement, the nature of procurement such as goods, infrastructure project, and consulting shall be determined based on primary purpose of the contract. Procurement shall also include the lease of goods and real estate. Procuring entity refers to any branch, constitutional commission, office, agency, department, bureau, office, or instrumentality of the government of the Philippines or national government agency, including the GOCC, GFI, SUC, and LGU. We have discussed this a while ago. Okay, government-owned and controlled corporation, government financing institution, state universities and colleges, and local government units, procuring goods, infrastructure project, and consulting services. At ito po yung modernized, no, na system, yung PhilGEPS, the Philippine Government Electronic Procurement System or PhilGEPS. So take note of this term, baka tanungin yan, no? Refers to the electronic system as provided in Section 8 of the IRR for purpose of, and throughout this IRR, the term PhilGEPS shall be the same, or shall have the same meaning and shall be used interchangeably with Government Electronic Procurement System or GEPS referred to this act. So parehas lang yon. So ibig sabihin mga kapatid, pwede ka nang magtingin ng mga projects online at pwede kang bumili ng bidding documents online at makapag-bid. Okay, so yan po ang sinasabi ng PhilJobs. Head of procuring entity, okay, refers to the head of the agency, body, or his duly authorized official for the national government agency, constitutional commission, office, and other branches of the government. The governing board or its duly authorized official for GOCC, GFI, and SUC. So yung mga board of trustees, no? O kaya naman board of directors ng mga GOCC and GFIs. The local chief executive such as the governor kapag province o kaya naman mayor kapag city or municipality. Provided however that